So our next guests are Justin Demetri and Chris Stepler from the Essex Shipbuilding Museum.
How you doing,
How's
Jess?
it going,
Good to see you.
Good to
bud.
see you.
So just as a
Nice to meet
reminder,
you.
just speak into the mic, and
Sure.
when you talk, you're going to have it too. The Essex Shipbuilding Museum, a treasure.
Absolutely.
A treasure. Tell us about what's happening over there right now.
Well, we're in the middle of our summer season, so we're open Wednesday through Sunday, 10 to 5. We offer 3 guided tours a day. We also offer self-tours all day long. And on top of that, we have some fun projects and some exhibits worth mentioning.
Mention.
Sure. Well, the big one that we're really proud of is a Clam Skiff exhibit that was funded by the Essex County Cultural Foundation. And over the course of the season, we've had some high school students come in. They have taken the lines off what may be one of the last surviving Essex clamming skiffs and created a beautiful replica. We've combined that, Chris and I, with some historical documentation, some great photos. We're working on oral histories. And another really cool aspect is Chris and a friend of ours who's a basket making historian are running classes on how to make the traditional Essex clamming baskets.
That's
that we're
really
also
exciting.
part of.
That's wonderful that you're doing these workshops of keeping the old crafts alive.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, one of the neat things is, when you build about 4,000 big vessels, you tend to ignore the small ones. So it's about time that we kind of got in and documented this really interesting, unique piece of local culture before it all went away. So, and we're not done. We're still, chronicling some of these histories, still talking to some of the old-time clammers. And so that's just one of the things that we do at the Essex Shipbuilding Museum. We don't just build, we're not just a museum, we're a working boatyard. We do a little bit of everything.
Right, yeah, Harold Burnham is right there, of course.
That's a good friend of ours.
Yes,
and when
indeed.
he's busy, it tends to help our business as well.
That's right.
And we always like to help as well. It's all
Yeah.
for a good cause.
Well, I have a
great.
question for Chris and Justin. As younger guys, the attraction of working in an historic museum like this, what was the draw for you to end up in your place today?
Well, for me, it was just my own history. I grew up right by the water and always enjoyed messing around on boats, and this was just a continuation. And that was the base interest, but the history that Essex has is so fascinating. It's so interconnected with the rest of Cape Ann and beyond. It was just so compelling that I decided to stick around.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it is definitely compelling that the Essex Shipbuilding Museum is there in one of the spots where they used to build the fishing schooners. So that's fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're in the 80-story shipyard, and it's a shipyard that has been in the Story family from 1819 to when we bought it in 1995. And it's a site that's seen countless vessels launched, including, of course, 80 Story was the most prolific shipbuilder in Essex. He built over 400 vessels on that site and subcontracted to a few others. But it's a piece of land with a lot of history, and the structures that we have reflect that.
So the shipyard itself is also celebrating its bicentennial?
It is
18, right?
pretty special.
Just coincidence?
Coincidentally.
It's something to add to the parade, I guess. Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
in terms of educational program, do you have programs that that are located at the shipbuilding museums? But are you doing anything out on the river? Do you have any kind of programs that young people can join, or?
Oh yes, we have lots of programs. We have the program that built the Clam skiff is ongoing. We had them on board for that. Before that, they built the dory for the Adventure, one of the
That's
two
right,
that
I
was
heard
built.
about
The
that.
other was up at
Yes.
Lowell's Boat Shop. And they continue to help us around the yard to keep on working on these other boats, Sharptown barges, which have been built over the years, the last 3 years with the O'Malley Middle School. They build 2 boats in 2 days with about 40 kids.
What?
And it's not just the boats. They make the oars. They make the thole pins and the grommets,
awesome.
act as oarlocks to row with them, and they learn how to row. So it's a pretty spectacular thing.
That's wild.
That we've
That
got
is
going.
incredible, and that's right here at the Essex Shipbuilding Museum. That's really a remarkable experience for young people to have that hands-on experience and to be able to build things. Right?
Yeah, you see a change, even in the students that are here for 2 days, or even for a 2-hour visit to go out rowing on the river with us.
Right.
There's a noticeable difference. they come in and they're all having fun. It's an off-site field trip, but then each one of them kind of finds their own thing to take away from it, whether it's using a tool, whether it's not wanting to use a tool, learning how to use it and kind of having that light bulb come on that they can do something, or just going out into the Great Marsh and rowing around and finding, something that's really interesting that they had never found before to pique their interest and kind of drive them on in their schooling from there.
Right. Awesome stuff. So, any immediate things going on? We talked about the Clam Skiff things happening right now. Are there any other big plans for the museum for this summer? And I also want to ask too, how has it been tourism-wise? Has the spike come as it was expected?
It's been a slow June, July. We're picking up, and we expect it to stay nice and busy. And we have quite a few events coming up very immediately. 1 o'clock today, we're having a free rowing program for our members. We call it our pop-up rowing, and we announce it 24 hours ahead of time on our Facebook and our Instagram pages. You go to our website, if you remember, you sign up, and then you show up 15 minutes ahead. We go out, we row for a couple hours, and then come back in.
Today is a beautiful day.
Yeah. So is the handle the same as like Shipbuilding Museum? Is the handle for all social?
For Facebook and for Instagram.
Great.
And then the next event we have is our Greenheads Gone party. We're all getting
we
attacked.
need that
Believe it when we see it, Chris.
But August 2nd, Friday evening, 6 to 8 p.m., we're having a cookout and a big party to celebrate the death of the Greenheads, which hopefully it will be that evening that the highest tide at the beginning of August comes in and drowns all of their nests.
No kidding. Is that usually how it goes?
That's usually how it goes. They arrive just after the 1st, and they leave somewhere in the first week of August.
Wow, that's great. Good to know. We just missed on the scheduling this time with the
think?
Greenheads today.
Well, we would love to actually be at the museum for one of these shows in the future
yeah.
too.
At some point, it'd be really fun for us to be there.
Because that is, if you haven't checked out the museum yet,
you have to go. If you're a Cape Anner,
it's
you
really
gotta go.
cool. Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. We really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Justin, Demetri, and Chris Stepler from the Essex Shipbuilding Museum.
Thanks so much.
Find them on
us.
social, Essex Shipbuilding Museum, or people need to contact you if they want to learn about membership. How can they do that?
They can email me, chris@essexshipbuilding.org, or sign up on the website.
Very
That's
cool.
great.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you so much.